Welcome everyone to tonight's edition of Dead Talk Live. I'm your host Viz from Walking Dead Now, and tonight we are being joined by the birthday boy right above me, our producer and my brother Marko, who you can all see right there waving at you.
Hi,
Our broadcast,
everybody.
our broadcast every night is simultaneously live streamed to YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter starting at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I want to welcome all our first-time viewers as well as all of our regular viewers. We hope you can join us for the next hour, which should be a lot of fun. And if you haven't already done so, we ask that you please subscribe to our YouTube channel called Walking Dead Now. If you're not on YouTube right now, just wait till after the show. Head on over there, and we would appreciate your subscription. And also, don't forget about our website called Dead Talk Live, where you can find out all the info about our show, past episodes, contact info, and on and on and on. So how are you doing, birthday boy?
I'm pretty good. Pretty good. Good day today. The weather was nice. I got a lot of nice messages and phone calls and text messages from friends and family. So it's nice. I really enjoyed it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. We have Heart Productions with us. Sass Chick says, "Hey, Viz and Marko, happy birthday." Heart Productions. A lot of happy birthday wishes for you, Marko. Let's go on Instagram. Ismail is like, Marko! Maya15. Will Rick be back in the movies? He'll be back in the movies. Andrew Valentine 712 writes, Hey, Andrew, thank you for joining us. Maya, I want Rick to come back. I miss him. Oh, I can tell that. We all miss Rick, and he'll be back in the movies. Ismail writes, happy birthday to you and stay safe, guys. Proc has joined us on Instagram. So Maya15, yeah, I guess you didn't know about the movies, Maya, but yeah, Rick is coming back in the movies. He's going to make 3 The Walking Dead movies that we are all super psyched about. And Maya also, Marko says, happy birthday. You can see the chats too, Marko, right?
Yeah, I see them. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, Marko is able to view all the chats tonight coming in from YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and so on. Hey, Kyla, waving back at you. Maya's like so excited about the Rick movies. I'm glad. Cutlets has joined us. Mike Cudlitz has joined us on Instagram.
Whoa!
Hey,
Hi, Mike. How are you?
Wow, Mike Cudlitz has joined us. That is awesome, Mike. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, we're doing video now, Mike, and you can see Marko right above me, and I'm down here. Thank you for joining
Mike,
us.
today's my birthday. I made it another year.
Yeah, Mike. Today is Marko's birthday. He is 55. He's 55. Mike writes, just passing by. Hey, that's great, man. That is awesome. Thank you for stopping by. Our interview last couple days ago was kick-ass, man. You see that, Marko? Mike writes, happy birthday.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
That's awesome. Zambika has joined us on Instagram. Hey, Zambika. Kimmy is joining us on Instagram. Y'all stay safe. You too, Mike. You stay safe, man. Stay safe. Thank you for popping in. We appreciate that, brother. We appreciate it. So, we have a lot of stuff going on today. Let's see where okay. So, as I previously announced to you guys, I'm going to be a part of this panel on a YouTube channel that's called Gypsy Road. And just before tonight's show, they sent me the thumbnail that they created for the video that's going to be shot on Wednesday, and I have to show this to you guys. I think it's hysterical. First of all, let me share with you guys what they are calling Wednesday's episode that I'm going to be with them. They are calling it, Are We the Real Walking Dead? So what they did, let me just show you. Here's the picture, okay? So, Marko, take a look on your Instagram and you'll see it. They made us all out to be zombies, and I'm actually one of the zombies. I'm the zombie on the far left of your screen. Hold on, Instagram.
Oh, I see you.
It's cut off on Instagram. Let me bring it a little bit over for our Instagram folks, because I'm all the way to the left. and I think it's hysterical. So it's gonna there you know I'm right there, all the way on the left side.
That's pretty funny.
That is hysterical. That's me. That's me, and that's the rest of that's the host and the rest of the panel that's going to be with me, I assume, on Wednesday. So I just had to share that with you guys. I thought that was
That's funny.
hysterical. And that's going to be this coming Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern. And for all of you that are watching on YouTube, I put a link to the actual video that's going to go live on Wednesday. And so it's in my YouTube description. So those of you watching on YouTube, you have the link right there. For anybody else watching on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter, you can go to our YouTube channel after the show, and you can just, bookmark the link if you care to watch it. But I think that's funny. Who's Beta? Ismail writes. Beta is the host of the show. Yeah, I think Beta is the host of the show. Ismail also writes, you guys look like each other a lot. Okay, yeah, we do. We are brothers. We share all the same genetic makeup, so that's why we look alike. Hard production. Saz writes she loves the picture, and Hard Production writes that's amazing. So I had to share that with you. I'm really excited about doing that on Wednesday. So anyway, moving on onto some more news. Today is the start of June, which means it's the start of Pride Month. And I just want to send out a whole bunch of love to our friends and family in the LGBT community. We love you, and we're celebrating you guys this month. And I had to show you guys this great picture that Marko brought to my attention. It's not a new picture, I don't think, but here it is.
No, it's not. No.
It's with Norman Reedus and Tom Paine holding up the Pride rainbow flag, holding hands. Daryl and Jesus right there. I think it's appropriate. It's the start of June, the start of Pride Month all over the world. And I think it's awesome. I think this picture is amazing with Daryl and Jesus right there. So I wanted to share that with you guys. Hey, Toby, thank you for joining us on Facebook. So let's go back to us here. So yeah, start of Gay Pride Month. Throwing out a bunch of love to everyone. And some other stuff. So moving on to Walking Dead news, okay? Michonne, played by Danai Gurira, actually revealed a little bit more information. Not a whole bunch of new information, but more info as to why she might have left the show. Hey, Face on Instagram, thank you for joining us. MDGA1992 has joined us. Short123 has joined us on Instagram. Letitia has joined us. Hi, I am from Brazil. I don't speak English. Well, thank you for joining us, Letitia. We hope you could stay. Alexandros Nicola has joined us. Hey, Alexandros. I hope you're doing well. So let me read you guys a little bit of that article that I found. I don't know how much of it is new information, but I'll just kind of summarize it, read you her quotes. She goes on to say that it was an incredibly hard to even imagine leaving. I loved that show. I loved the family that I had there and that I always have. The beauty of coming to work and loving the people you're around and the work that you're doing and the things you get to do and call it your job is like nothing I could have imagined. But there are aspects of my work as a writer which I sort of kind of knew. Did you know that she was a writer, Marko?
Yeah, I did. She's working on a couple of minor films and so forth. But not to see, I love it when celebrities say, oh, I love my work, but I had no choice. I love my job too. But if I had an opportunity to thrive and be one of the stars of the greatest show in the world, I would make time to be a writer and do other projects and so forth. She did Black Panther when she was on hiatus from The Walking Dead. I just kind of feel that I love her. I love her character. I love her as a person. I thought that her departure was not necessary and not needed. She should have stayed on the show for at least another season, my opinion.
But it was ABC, right? It was ABC that offered her that really lucrative deal that she chose to leave.
Yeah, but I mean, look at Lauren Cohan. Lauren Cohan took the leave of absence to do Champagne Cavalier, and that show bombed after a year. So that's what I'm trying to say. It's hard for an actress or an actor to be in an established show and then say, you know what, I'm going to leave it behind and go start another project. It's really difficult, and you have more opportunity to be on cable. You have a lot less restrictions for writers, a lot less restrictions for violence. Your message can be brought across as well. And Denaya has established herself already for 7 years. She had a say in her character. She could have turned around and said, you know what, I don't think it's a good idea for Michonne to leave, or at least leave and then let me come back with some closure, because now we're expecting closure and we're not getting it from her. And it's just a shame. I just hope that I just wish her the best. I loved her in the Black Panthers. I had the opportunity to meet her when I was working in New York in a hotel. She's a beautiful lady, nice lady, but I hope she made the right decision. Obviously, Lauren Cohan didn't, because she's back on the show. Yeah. I actually don't miss Maggie. I love Maggie. I don't miss her. I don't miss her character. I really don't. I think her, with Glenn dying and her taking little Herschel and leaving, that's Maggie's chapter. She's done. So for her to come back to do what? And guys, if you have any opinions on this, please let me know if you feel like I'm in the same place. I mean, I love Lauren Cohan. I loved her when she was on. I loved her progression. But I think that Maggie went up to where she should have gone. And that's
Marko, if you have volume turned on. Okay. We're kind of distracted by that very cute kitty cat to your left.
Oh, Beatrix?
Put her
Beatrix,
in front
say hi.
Pick her
she
up.
Left. I'm trying to, but she's skittish. If she comes back again, I'll pick her up. Sorry. That's Beatrix. Yeah.
I've been reading. If you look at the Universal chat, Toby, I want to address something that Toby's saying on the Universal chat that I want to make public. It's very disturbing. Toby writes, thanks for that. I needed to hear that all day. I was getting hate because I'm in the LGBTQs. I'm proud LGBTQ, goes on to say, yeah, it's Pride Month. And then Toby goes on to say, thanks, Viz, for that. I needed to hear that. I was getting so much hate because I'm part of the LGBTQ. I'm really sorry about that, Toby, and whoever is throwing that hate your way, they're not worth it. That's not worth it. Okay? We love you, Toby, and I'm sorry you had to go through that. And I just wanted to bring that, to everyone's attention. And you're loved here, and thank you for joining us. Summer writes, happy birthday, Marko.
Thank you, Summer.
Hard Production writes, I've never been a big fan of Maggie, never disliked her, but never really liked her. So you're more just like indifferent to her. And I'm surprised. I've mentioned this before. Ismail writes that we love you, Toby. And we do love you, Toby. Zambika37 on Instagram, Toby writes, I'm sorry, Toby. People are ignorant. So yeah, people are ignorant, Toby. So ignore them, okay? Going back to Maggie, what I was going to say is I'm amazed at how many fans really turned on Maggie when she left the show. They felt betrayed by her, and I was getting a whole bunch of comments that when she comes back, she has to start at the bottom of the list. And I'm thinking, what list? I mean, the hilltop is burned down to the ground. It doesn't exist anymore until they rebuild it. She's coming back. She's going to be pivotal to this whole Commonwealth story that we're going to find out. It's going to be through her backstory that we're going to find out. I love Maggie. I love Lauren Cohan. I think she's a great actress, both on TV and in movies. Yeah, her TV show, Whiskey Something, did not...
Cavalier. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Whiskey Cavalier did not do very well. It happens. And I'm glad that the writers had the foresight to not kill her off and leave the door open for her to come back, and she is. And I think that's amazing that she is coming back. And I just want to finish out the Michonne quote. So she goes on to say, There are aspects of my work as a writer, and I need to allow it to have space, to really let it have its space in my life and in my artistic pursuits as well. And I just had to let that space come to pass. So that's her explanation. And, it's her decision. I respect it. But that's her explanation as to why she left the Walking Dead TV show. Has it been it has been confirmed, Marco, that she is going to be in the movies, right?
Yeah, she's gonna do I don't know how extensive her role is gonna be, but yes, I think they're trying to get as many of the current cast members in the movies, whether it's going to be either in flashback or in a dream sequence or so forth, because they want to keep not just about him. They also want to have aspects of the characters of the show in Rick's life too. Because remember, he's one person, but there's so many. But the cast is his family. So if we don't see a reason as to Fred or he, in other words, he has to feel a sense of rebellion when he's taken off the helicopter and taken to wherever he's going. He's going to have to miss his family. He knows he's got Judith and Michonne. So we have to see that. And in order for us to see his mood and his interaction and his anticipation, that's got to show us other cast members. And he has to talk about other cast members who wherever he's being held for us to make a connection. So that's where I think all these other actors from the show are going to make appearances in the movie. We have to get a backstory. We can't just continue from what happened, because 6 years have passed since the helicopter took him off and where we are now. So we have to find out what's going on in the 6 years. Did he have another child? Has he fallen in love with anyone else? Has he made friends? Has he made acquaintances? What's the reason why he's there? Why was he a beta and not an alpha? Which I think Rick is an alpha, but according to Jadis, he's a beta. So that all has to be explained, because I don't know what that means. I would never put Rick as a beta. He's not a beta. Aaron is an alpha. Daryl is an alpha. The only one that I would consider a beta would be maybe Father Gabriel, Eugene, but everyone else on the show, even the women, are all alphas. They're all leaders.
Well, that's going according to what we think of what an A and a B is. Now, they're just trying to twist it around and confuse us. And apparently the CRM has their own kind of labeling. Like, for what we think of like an alpha personality or a B personality, for the CRM, it's probably something completely different. And that's just something that we're going to find out in the movies. Now, do you think Michonne is going to be a part of the flashback? Or my theory is that we're not going to see her till the third movie.
I agree with you there. We're not going to see her for a while. I think it's going to be a while until we finally see her.
Yeah, I think we're not going to see her till the third movie, and I think it's going to be the third movie. No, I'm jumping over two movies that haven't even been made yet. But I think it would be great in the third movie if she actually does find him, and we see Rick and Michonne partnering up, battling together, and I hope she's a big part of that third movie to bring at least the Rick Grimes trilogy to an epic closing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I mentioned in a prior episode, Gimple went on record saying that he wants these movies to have people that have no idea about The Walking Dead to walk into that theater or TV, depending on where it gets released, sit down and not be lost as to what's going on.
Right.
So
it's like when they take television shows from the 70s and 80s and they try to put them on the big screen again. You want to make them modern so that the new generation will connect it, but also the old generation feels an attachment to it as well. So that's what I'm trying to think. I think the perfect example that I can think of, and John knows I'm a geek for this show, is Charlie's Angels, for example. Charlie's Angels was a huge icon in the 70s. So when they did the movies in 2000, they needed to kind of connect old references of the show so that myself will watch it, appreciate the old epic of the show, but also love the new Angels and the way that's going. So that's what they're going to do. They're going to try to kind of incorporate a little bit of the show, but also try to keep it fresh and new and so forth. So that's going to be interesting to see how they pull that off.
Yep. And I want to join Natalia, who's joined us, Banavilo, who's joined us on Instagram. Oh, come on, Ismail. Did you see what Ismail just wrote?
I did. But are you talking about the TV shows or the movies?
I think he's probably talking about the movies.
Probably, because he was too young when he was TV shows came out.
I think Marco is talking about the original TV show, and that did not suck. That was actually pretty good. But I think it's funny. Feliciano has joined us on Instagram. Yes, Ismail is talking about the movies.
Okay.
And he's right. And he's right.
Yeah.
The first one with Drew Barrymore, Cameron Diaz, and help me out here.
Lucy Liu.
That was pretty decent. But then they did kind of get silly after that.
Yeah.
They did kind of get a little silly. Summer writes, Michonne is going to find her man. She is definitely going to be in the movies. She also goes on to say, he better not have found someone else, Marco. I don't think that's going to happen.
Actually, Rick hasn't had a lot of love interest on that show, which is really weird. He's only had Lori and then Jesse and then Michonne. There hasn't really been anyone and I'm surprised because there were a lot of women on the show that he could have easily hooked up with. It's just odd. Huh?
Yep. Zambika writes on Instagram that true fans have been watching since day one, so that people watching the movies would be lost. So that is good. They can go and enjoy them. I guess you're talking about just go back and rewatch and binge. And that's what The Walking Dead has in mind. They want to create a movie where you're not totally lost, but it does make you want to go back if you've never watched an episode and binge watch the 10 or 11 seasons that would have been out by then. So, let's see. Angel6186 has joined us on Instagram. So let's move on. I think I have some more stuff. Let me see if I have some more stuff as far as news goes. Oh yeah, this is interesting. I brought this up again the other day as well, but it is now official. The Walking Dead Season 10 was this year's most watched cable drama. It's official. It was this year's most watched cable drama, and its viewership had gone up. It beat out a lot of competing shows on HBO Max and so on. The article on Screen Rant, you guys can go find it after the show if you want. Goes on to mention that the reason for its resurgence has a lot to do with AMC Premiere. And then they go on to list, some numbers. It goes on to say, as AMC's most successful series, The Walking Dead Season 10 averaged 5.4 million viewers and had a 1.9 rating amongst adults 18 to 49, with a week of delayed viewing during the 2019-2020 season. So overall, The Walking Dead ranks 11th amongst all primetime shows. So not only is it the most watched cable drama, it is ranked 11th amongst all primetime TV shows, according to Nielsen. So that's pretty big. That's good. That's good. And as long as those ratings keep going up, that means the show is not going to be going anywhere anytime soon. Andrew Valentine at 712 writes us, they wanted an A though, so I think he was a B because he was wounded. What do you think about that? That he was a B, Marco, because he was wounded? Yeah,
it's possible. Yeah.
It's possible.
I could see, Yep.
Yep.
Now remember, she was aiming for Gabriel to be an A. Isn't that a little interesting? Because that's who she originally wanted. Didn't they want Gabriel to go on there? Now, I mean, I'm sorry, but you can't call Gabriel an A from the time you meet him. Towards the end, possibly, but I would never have put Gabriel as an alpha. No, I mean, his character. No, absolutely not.
No, Gabriel throughout his whole time on The Walking Dead, his character was just on this huge roller coaster loop. Yeah. We found him, on top of the rock crying for help. He brought him to their church. He finally admits that, after they started questioning him about the markings outside the church, he finally admitted that he was too much of a coward to let his parishioners in. and he let them die out there, and he barricaded himself in the church. And then Alexandria, him turning to Deanna, calling Rick, the devil, to finally, finding his balls, basically, and manning up. And I thought it was great that Rick, after he proved himself, brought him back into the family. Rick did not hold that grudge against Gabriel. And Gabriel is an amazing character now, but I really think that we're going to lose him in this finale.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're going to lose Gabriel in this finale. And Andrew
to
also
my
writes...
opinion...
Go on. No, go on.
To my opinion, when I was binge watching the earlier seasons with Alexandria and the Walkers, I think Rick's perception of Gabriel's becoming more braver and trust was when he took Judith to safety, when Jesse and Sam and Ron and Michonne and Carl were coming out of the house with the Walkers all over them. I think that's when Rick's perception, when he told him that you can trust me, don't worry, I'm not going to fail. I think that's the turning point, in my opinion, where Rick and Gabriel were like, okay, this man is legitimate, and I think he's going to be someone that I can trust moving forward, because he put his life to save Judith, and I think that was wonderful. That's why him and Tyrese bonded as well, too, because he saved Judith's life. Yeah, so we don't... It's just, so there's always moments throughout, even with Daryl and Rick bonded from the first season, when Daryl got his respect when he went with him back to Atlanta to find Merle. So there was always been pinpoints. That should be a great topic we'll talk about, because I think we should analyze Rick's character and find out when and where his trust became with everyone else. I mean, Andrea put a gun to his face telling him that you just killed us all. She was going to kill him. Mm-hmm. I think the only person that kind of took him first was Glenn. Glenn was the first person that helped Rick and say, you know what? Come with us, we'll save you. But that's a really good topic we might talk about in the next coming days, is to find out, break down Rick's trust and where each character felt like, okay, this man is a part of my family now.
Do you remember at the end of season 2, after the farm fell, and literally at the final few moments of season 2, when it's Carol and Daryl talking, and Carol is really just pissed off at Rick. Yeah. She turns to Daryl, and she's like, you should step up, he's gonna get us killed. And then that is the first moment that Daryl actually verbalized that he says that, you know what, Rick has done all right by me.
Right.
Yeah, he says Rick has done, he's like, Rick has done all right by me. So that's his way of sort of saying, you know what, he's good,
I trust him.
I trust him. That's when he first verbalized it, and I think that was very, very important. And sorry, guys, we're multitasking here.
Yeah, we forgot you were there. We apologize. Just thank you for the messages.
Yeah, that's an interesting discussion going on Instagram about the A's and the B's. That's
I cool. See that. I know.
Yeah. Hard Production writes, I think A is infected and B is an injured. Possible.
Okay. Yeah.
The bottom line is we don't know. And Saz goes on to write, yes, that is what I was thinking, Ethan. Yeah. Maybe it has absolutely nothing to do with personality, and it has all about to do with their current physical being.
Especially since we know that they're going to be doing experiments on humans. That could be the reason why they're looking for somebody infected.
You're right. I never pieced that together.
Did a light bulb just go over my head?
It did over mine too, because
that's what I mean. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, we do know it was officially leaked, and it was sort of confirmed that the basis of the first movie, at least, is going to be Rick is going to be at least going to be tried to be used as a human experiment. The CRM is trying to find a cure for this zombie virus by experimenting on people. So maybe that is why they're so interested. And they have broken up people into two categories, A being whatever and the other one being B's, depending on what their physical condition is. Maybe they need A's, a certain amount of A's or B's to conduct their experiment. Who knows? Hollywood 6 Miranda on Instagram writes, Jadis said thought AGA. Saw age? No, AGA. Sorry, I misread that, Miranda. But all we have, guys, is theories, and it's great to theorize. But at the end of the day, we just have to wait for the movies to actually come out. We do have, besides Marco, there is another birthday today, and today is Lori Grimes' birthday, played by Sarah Wayne Callies. She turns 43. So we want to wish Sarah a very happy birthday. And, I do miss Lori on The Walking Dead. I thought she was an interesting character while she was there. And she is missed. And we just want to wish Sarah a very, very happy birthday today. So you share a birthday with Lori, Marco. So today we have a really interesting base topic that me and Marco were discussing. And that is, let me look at the universal chat here too. It was blocked. Let's say we want to put ourselves, and we want you guys to put yourselves in the Walking Dead character's shoes. And let's say you're in the middle of a zombie outbreak. Would you rather be a loner, nomadic type, not really settling in one place, not having to abide by any kind of rules? I'm not saying for you to be a bad guy, but just, not trusting anybody, thinking you're much better off by yourself, not having to worry about, gaining emotional attachments and then losing a person. Or would you rather be a part of like the communities that we see on The Walking Dead? And we want your guys' input, because honestly, for me, I think I would feel much safer in a community. How about you, Marco?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Unless I was, I'm not an alpha personality, and this, I can barely change a tire. So I know that once the apocalypse happens and I'm forced to be on my own, I would feel more confident and more stronger being with a group of people that were on the same page, as opposed to somebody who's on their own. But also in the meantime, I can also see the luxury of being prepared to live in the world, like living off the grid, for example. So I don't believe there's a right or wrong answer, but I'm just curious to see how all of you out there feel. It also depends on where you are. Like, for example, let's say I'm thinking hypothetically, if we're in a major city like New York or DC or Los Angeles, it's going to be very hard for us to survive a zombie apocalypse because of the spread being more faster grow. So that has a lot to do with it as well, too. And it's kind of weird. I think where the group was being in Atlanta, and we don't know where they were. A lot of them could have been in the suburbs. So it might have been easier for them to kind of get together and kind of form a community. So that's a very good question. So I want to know from everyone, what do you guys feel? Do you feel like you'd be better as a loner, kind of living on your own, maybe with you and like a brother or another family member? Or would you rather feel more comfortable living in a community like Alexandria or Hilltop where you can contribute to a life?
Well,
so, yes, please.
We're getting answers coming in. And Zambika says absolutely a loner, hands down.
Really?
Yeah, and actually, there are a lot of loners coming up there.
Okay.
Hard Productions also says they would rather be a loner. Hollywood 6 Miranda writes, well, going back to the CRM has to be outside the U.S. because I think Rick would have found a way back to Michonne by now if it was in the U.S. Actually, we know exactly where the CRM is based. The CRM is broken up into 3 groups, all within the United States. One is obviously close to the Washington, D.C. area where the Alexandria communities are, and the other ones are in the Midwest. So Hollywood, Miranda, it is actually in the U.S. Nerdiest Geek has joined us on Instagram. Nerdiest Geek says, happy birthday, Marco. Zambika says, just me and my family on our own. Okay. Kimmy on Instagram writes, a community. Andrew Valentine 712 writes, a community, survive longer. Okay. Nerdiest Geek apologizes for being late to the party. That's fine, Nerdiest Geek. We're glad you can join us. Hollywood Miranda also goes on to write, I'd be better in a community. I'd like to think I'd be like Carol or Michonne, but I'm probably more like a Tara. Well, Tara was
Okay.
kick-ass. Tara was
Tara was
kick-ass.
great. Tara was a
Yeah,
great leader.
yeah.
Yeah.
Quasi on Instagram is joining us. Says hello, hello, Quasi. Quasi, thank you for joining us. Kimmy says, I'm good at some things and not others. Well, that goes true. Oh, did you turn up volume there, Marco?
No, I haven't touched anything.
I'm sorry. I guess I'm getting feedback on my headset. Kimmy writes, I'm good at some things, not at others. Where was I? I missed my spot. Quasi also writes, I love The Walking Dead. That's kick-ass. Ismail writes, you gotta adapt to any situation. Don't get comfortable in a community. Don't always be alone. Be capable of taking care of yourself. Daryl, for example. Good point, Ismail. Nerdiest Geek also writes, alone. You don't have to worry about others if you're alone. And just going back to all these people that are saying alone, there's not a right or wrong answer. My fear of being alone is, if you guys remember when Andrea died, after Rick and Daryl found her and she was bit and she was about to take her own life, she says, I was just trying to bring everyone together because we can't make it alone. And Daryl says we never could. We never could make it alone. So that brings me to my point of being alone has its advantages, but the disadvantages is how many times on The Walking Dead did we see one character save another character's life? Okay, where if they were alone, they would have died. Okay,
like Daryl saved Bob's life.
Exactly.
He brought Bob, found him on the road, brought him back. Yep.
Exactly. And even Rick, to the last moment, Daryl was taking out those walkers with his crossbow as they were approaching him on the bridge. And that's the beauty of maybe not a community, but traveling with people. Because if you're really by yourself, the chances of you surviving in that kind of world really go down. That's my opinion. That's just my opinion. Summer goes on to say, I need a community. I freak out when I run over squirrels. There's no way I would be able to put down walkers. I would need help. And she goes on laughing. Saz also writes, probably in a community. I think I'd be like Eugene in the early days. Well, go back to season 1, episode 1, where Rick could not hack up that walker to put their guts on him and Glenn to go get the truck. Look at how far he came along to season 6 when they were trying to remember when they were trying to hand over Gregory's head over to the Saviors, Marco, and they went and they were looking for walkers that looked like Gregory. Yeah, and somebody said the nose is not broken, and Rick picked up the walker head and he just punched the shit out of it.
I remember that. Yeah, now I remember. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And just think of that Rick compared to season 1 Rick, where he could not chop up the walker, put their guts on him, to the Rick who had no problem picking up a decapitated head and just breaking its nose. So I just think that's hysterical.
The most violent I think I've ever seen Rick was that season when Michonne and Carl, when the group all split and Michonne and Carl found themselves in the house, and then they were invaded by those 4 drifters, and then one of them was going to assault Carl, and he went in there and ripped he bit him on the neck, like he savagely murdered him. Do you remember who I'm talking about?
Yeah, kind of. I do. Yeah.
And he actually Daryl was going to get beaten, and they were going to rape Carl, and he actually attacked one of the leaders and ripped his.
The Marauders.
Yeah, the Marauders. That to me was I think the most violent I've ever seen him, because he was protecting his child. So I thought to myself, if he can go there, then he's crossed a lot. He can do anything he wants to from that point on.
Well, also
that was shocking. Yeah.
And as a father, I can say
You can relate, exactly.
when you
Yeah.
see your son or your child in immediate danger, his father instincts kicked in right there. And they were, and going back what Saz says, they were called the Claimed. They were also called the Marauders.
I forgot what they were called.
Yeah, I mean, they were. These are names that they were given by the fans. They didn't officially have a name, but I know on Talking Dead, Hardwick referred to them as the Marauders. And what a marauder is basically a nomadic group.
A nomad,
Yeah, and that's what they were. That's exactly the kind of group we're talking about. They did not have a community. They went on from place to place, and then as we saw in the webisodes, they would rape and pillage along the way, steal whatever they want, and just move from place to place to place. And they were pissed off at Rick because when Rick was in that house and he hid under the bed and he had to kill that guy in the bathroom and he left him to turn, that's why they had it in for Rick, and they were looking for him. And that scene that you just mentioned where Rick bites, and his name is Joe. That was the name of the guy that got his neck bitten off by Rick. That scene is one of my favorite scenes in The Walking Dead. So,
I wonder if they were part of the group that attacked Terminus. We would never know. That's a good possibility as well.
It's good. It is a good possibility because I believe that was while they're on their way to Terminus.
Right. So that could have been, that was the episodes where everybody was in different places trying to get to Terminus. Maybe they were originally part of that community that were kicked out. Remember, because the people of Terminus took over their place and took it back. So there could have been anyone that survived and kind of went on the road. That's another good theory. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Carter 2121 has joined us. Hey Carter, thank you for joining us. Summer also goes on to write, how did they know that it was Rick that killed that guy in the bathroom? Did they ever explain that? I think when Joe caught up with Rick, I'm going off memory. I haven't seen that episode in a little bit. But I think when Rick was confronted by Joe tells Rick that, you killed one of our guys and you just left him there to turn. And I believe after he turned, he did end up killing one of the other members of Joe's group. So yeah, I think it was explained. It was explained in that very same episode that Rick bit off his neck just before that happened while they had him all at gunpoint. And Joe went on to explain why he really just wanted to basically find Rick and kill him. So Hollywood Miranda writes, but I'm not sure the claimers were cannibals. They weren't. No, Miranda, the claimers, they were not cannibals. She also goes on to say the one guy saw Rick's face. That's how they knew. Okay, yeah. And Joe brought it up to him as well. And Rick also took the guy's gun, Ismail also writes. So yeah. So going back now, there are so many instances of where we've seen loners on this show get found by the group, and the group would have the three questions. How many walkers have you killed? How many people have you killed? And then the final question, why? Even for me to this day, analyzing those three questions, I really want to see, I don't really get its significance. Do you get it, Marko? How many walkers, how many people, and why?
No, the only one that sticks out to me is when Michonne asked Aaron, and he goes, the reason why is because he was going to kill me. That's the only answer that I can come up with. Is you're going to kill a person because obviously you feel your life threatened. And he only said it was one, which I believed. So I don't understand why that was I don't know the logic of that. There must have been some kind of subconscious message that Rick was thinking about as to why. The walkers, we understand, you have to do that. But people, I think he just wanted to see where a person's, I don't want to say trust, but where their level will go if they're put in a situation where they have to kill someone. And even when we had Mike Kulitz on the show, and Mike said that somebody asked him the question about Eugene, and do you believe that Eugene deserved to get hit? And he goes, yeah, he does, because not only did he lie to us, but he also caused us to kill a lot of innocent people along the way for a lie, which is true, because they had to kill a lot of people to get Eugene to Washington. So all of a sudden to find out that it wasn't true, he kind of felt betrayed, because these could have been people that did not have to die.
Exactly.
And I think you and I talked about this before. I'm the kind of person that I would not kill a walker if it's not bothering me. If it's just far away where I can walk away from it. I think it's kind of, I agree in that season with Tyrese when the walkers were by the fence and Karen was taking them out and he's like, I can't do it. He goes, I can't do it when they're up on the fence like that. Because he had a conscience. He still believed that at some point, even though they're dead, there's beings that are there. So yeah. I kind of feel like I would be that person. If they're coming my way to kill me, I get it. But if they're just walking down the road and they're, and I'm 50 yards away from them and I can get away from them, I would just let them be.
Yeah, I do remember saying that. And I remember I countered that point that you made with I would see the point of killing them is if you let them go, then they could end up killing, an innocent person down the line. Well, and that was the only comeback I had.
What happened with Dale? Remember when Carl didn't kill that walker and he came back to kill Dale?
Yeah.
So that's where, I thought about that. And Carl said that. He goes, if I didn't kill him, Dale would have been alive.
Exactly.
So so it's just, again, another reason why the show is so brilliant. It's just there's so much levels to writing that just goes underneath it.
It's endless.
Very cool.
It's endless. And Zambika 37 writes, in regards to the 3 questions, she says, I think to see if they killed more people than walkers. That's not right. Yeah, that could be it. If you've killed more people than walkers, that does say a little bit of what kind of person you are. Like, there's so many walkers around, but you're telling me you've killed more human beings than walkers? That really would not make a whole bunch of sense. Ismail writes, the questions show how capable a person is. Is he a killer or a survivor? And would he be tempted to kill someone over simple things? So that's what the questions mean. Yeah, I agree with that. Money's 904 writes, like the Whisperers. Absolutely. Miranda writes, the 3 questions were really to rule out people that had killed other people for stupid reasons. I agree. They didn't want psychopaths coming back to their prison community. I absolutely agree, Hollywood Miranda. And Zambika also writes, exactly. Kimmy writes, but remember when Carl didn't kill Swamp Walker? That's what Marko just said. Yeah. Kimmy, Marko just mentioned that. Carl did not kill the Swamp Walker, and then it came back and it killed Dale. And that was my comeback to Marko when we were talking about this, just one-on-one. The only drawback to that is if you let them live, they could end up killing someone that you love or someone that you don't know that is completely innocent. Yeah, and going over to the YouTube, Sass Chick writes, how many walkers is how many that can handle themselves? How many people is if they can be trusted? And why so they understand why they killed the people? And Summers goes on to thank Sass for explaining that, which is a great explanation. Yeah. Hard Productions also goes on to say, I'd have to clear walkers. I wouldn't go crazy like Morgan, though, but I couldn't let one go. Okay. So, that's what we have there. And there have been just so many different examples. Another good one is Sadiq. And I think I mentioned this previously as well. Sadiq, Carl was very pissed off on how Rick came rushing at Sadiq, firing a gun over his head. And Carl, it was coming close to the time that we were going to lose Carl, although we didn't know it at the time. But Sadiq was all alone. And if you remember, Marko, Sadiq, when we met him all disheveled, he was talking to himself. He was he was more than halfway to crazy.
I think he was reciting the Quran. He was reciting something religious, from what I remember.
Yeah.
That's like that. And then Carl saw him, and he approached him, and then Rick said, "But I shot over his head," and Carl got pissed. Yeah, that was a great scene. Well.
Yeah, Carl wasn't buying that. He was pretty pissed off at his father for doing that, and that's when they were walking on the road back together. And Carl would say to him, you know, if we're going to rebuild this world, we have to do it right, and we have to give people a chance, and on and on and on. But Siddiq is a perfect example, and that's why it hurt me so much when we lost Siddiq, because I've always seen Siddiq as the person that Carl sacrificed himself for. And when Dante killed Siddiq, that really bothered me. When we lost Siddiq, it really bothered me.
I love
Dante.
I thought that he was funny, and he was a great character, and I think he liked Siddiq. I really think he did. And I think if he didn't catch him I'm sorry. I like Dante. And now I know I'm going to get a lot of bad reviews from everybody, but I thought he was great, and he added a little. He made Siddiq interesting. That's what I like to say, because I really didn't think he was a great character, in my opinion. He made him interesting. He made him funny. They bounced off each other really well. So yes, I know you guys are going to hate me for saying that, but I'm a big fan of Dante, so I put it out there. You know?
Yeah, Ismail, if you want to recite what he was saying and translate it for us, that'd be great. Andrew Valentine 712 writes, ended up killing Carl in the end. Yeah. Nerdiest Geek writes, he dies? ? Does who die, Nerdiest Geek? Hollywood Miranda writes, I didn't see that coming at all. I was shocked when Dante killed him. Yeah. I was surprised too. I did not see that coming.
That was a twist. A great twist. Great.
It was a great twist. It was amazing. And the way that he revealed himself with the whole clicking of the tongue. Do you think that was on purpose, Marco?
No, I just think he forgot that. I think he forgot it. I think when they were in the barn and he had his arm around him and he did it in Siddiq's ear, I think time has passed that when Dante did it, it just triggered a memory in Siddiq's head. And I think that's why it happened that way. I think subconsciously, sometimes when you forget things and all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I remember that. I think that's what happened. And I love that scene when Alpha has him remove his face mask and he's like, I want you to join them and part of them and so forth. And again, you guys are going to hate me for saying this as well. That's why I loved her as well. She was such a great character. And it was amazing. Yeah. I mean, the scenes between her, Samantha Morton and the characters she works with, whether it was Thora Birch, Ryan Hurst, even with J.D. Morgan, she brought so much energy and character to all the actors she worked with. So for her to go for me I miss her. Call me weird, but I miss her. She was a great villain. A great villain, but she wasn't nuts. She wasn't like the governor. She was kind of. She knew her focus. She knew exactly what the world was all about. She said that the world belongs to the dead. It doesn't belong to us anymore. And she adapted it. And she protected people around her because all of a sudden, when the Whisperers would see the community where they have hot showers and food and vegetables, she didn't want them getting ideas to break her community.
Well, she saw that as a threat because
right, exactly.
The communities were living a life that she had told her followers does not exist anymore.
Doesn't exist anymore. So all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, it's like it's there. It's like, that's why. So I understood her part. But I know you guys are gonna hate me for saying this, but yes, I loved Alpha. So
I loved Alpha too. And Nerdiest Geek writes, Siddiq dies. I guess we just spoiled it for you, Nerdiest Geek. But
Sorry.
Siddiq does get he dies, and it sucks because, like I said, I saw Siddiq as like the trade-off we got in exchange for Carl. And Hollywood Miranda writes, I didn't see that coming at all. I was shocked when Dante killed him. Zambika also writes, I liked him too. Money 904. I'm sorry, I can't make that out. going on. Yeah, everybody's answering Nerdiest Geek. Dante did. I mean, sorry. Yeah, Sadiq did die by Dante. And since we've already spoiled that for you, don't worry, Nerdiest Geek. Dante gets his due by Gabriel. You know, of all people. You know, Gabriel. Let's just say Gabriel avenges Sadiq, and that was an amazing scene where Gabriel looks at Dante while he's in the prison, and he said Sadiq was my brother. I mean, think of that. You know, think of that bizarre Let's just talk about we only got a few minutes, but that bizarre triangle between Gabriel, Rosita, and Sadiq, and how they were able to actually love each other, get along. And Rosita, if you remember, she mentions to Eugene, I think, where she says Gabriel does not have a single jealous bone in his body. You know, Gabriel did not feel threatened by Sadiq, which really, again, shows how far Gabriel came along in this show. He did not feel threatened in his relationship with Rosita by Sadiq. You know, Gabriel realized that Sadiq is Coco's dad. He respected that, and even Eugene doing the babysitting. So I really loved the way they wrote the relationship between Rosita, Gabriel, and Sadiq, and then to have that just reach its pinnacle when Gabriel avenges Sadiq and just kills Dante. I mean, he just kills him. I don't think he went into that prison cell with the intention of killing Dante, but he couldn't stand looking at him anymore. And he just took him out. Anyway, guys, we are like out of time. I want to read Ismail's recitation. It's a verse in the Quran saying, "In my mercy prevails, my wrath," he means God and his mercy. So he was talking to Carl, and like he was scared, that's why he said that to Carl in order to save himself. Okay, Ismail, thank you so much. Zambika writes, as a mom, I thought Rosita's character handled that scene very well. We have so many chats. I know we couldn't get to all of them tonight. Marko, it's been phenomenal having you on here tonight.
Great. Thank you, guys. Appreciate the love and the birthday praises as well.
Tomorrow, guys, Saz is joining us as our special guest. So, Saz, I'm very excited to have you on here tomorrow night. You'll be right up there. You'll be right up there where Marko is tomorrow, Saz. So we're looking forward. Tomorrow night we're having Saz on the show. Saz is like the Walking Dead human Wikipedia as well. So thank you, guys. Thank you to everyone for watching. Subscribe to our YouTube channel called Walking Dead Now. We're literally out of time. And happy Pride Month to everybody. And until tomorrow, guys, I love you. Marko loves you. We all love you. Till tomorrow, guys, stay walking.